It's Judy on the radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Hey, well, good morning, and thank you for being on to the Real Talk with Judy show. I am so glad to have you for empowering, inspiring, motivating, and helping people go to their next level. This is the thing. You got to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. You never will see it. You got to see that it is possible. Man, you got to see that you are in that driver's seat. You got to see that you're making it happen. And in 2024, we want to help you to reach that goal. We want to help you to open your eyes so you can even see the more, because you have to see it. If not, you'll never see it, and people can talk you out of it. So we want you to, 2024, we're going to help you, especially leaders, and to accomplish everything that's possible for you in 2024. And I want to also say, I know some people say, well, it didn't happen in 2023. Well, you ain't dead. So as long as there's life in your body, as long as there's breath in your body, there's an opportunity for God to fulfill what he says. Okay, so thank you again for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show 2024. And I am Dr. Judy, your people architect and your Real Talk with Judy host. To all of you, thank you so very much for tuning in. I want you all to go ahead and tag and share this post. I promise you, I was going to bring him in, but he already sitting right there. You know, he always just pop up at any time. But I have one of my mentors who's on here today, and we're going to talk about that in just a few moments. And I don't know about how it feels where you are, but here in Tallahassee, this first Tuesday of 2024, January the 2nd, it is nice. It is a little cool, like you should have a hammock sitting in the Bahamas or Jamaica somewhere, and that's where it looked like you should be. But we want you to go ahead and tag. But thank you all so very much for tuning in by way of Hallelujah 95.3 FM, Facebook Live, and YouTube, and the Hallelujah app. I am extremely thankful that you will spend your first Tuesday with me, starting off the new year just right. And Elder Alicia Barnes, thank you. She texted everybody. In a few minutes, Minister Brenda Howard is going to have about 50 people she's going to share this with. And y'all, we want you all on here because Bishop McRae is a stellar leader. And he's going to help leaders to think locally, but build globally. You know, I mean, build locally, but think globally. And just a whole lot of stuff. He's going to be with me all year long. I've asked him to be a special guest all year long on leadership, and you're going somewhere. So go ahead and text everybody. Y'all know before I get started, even in 2024, I must give honor to my mama, Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley. So glad that she's here, y'all. She's still here. 5 years ago, the doctors gave her, I think, 4 weeks. And God has allowed her to be here, and she's on listening. And I thank God for my mom. She said, who you have on there today? I said, Bishop Derek McRae. He talking about, that's the one you call your mentor? I said, yes, ma'am. Talking about, oh, I like him. So she'll be on. My sister Tanya's on. And so my family, they're on. So, Mom, thank you again for being here. And we're so glad. She is my advisor. And I am mentor. And so she's here and she's taught me so much. If the Lord delay his coming, which we pray he will, she will be 85 years old this year. February the 25th, she will be 85. And we are extremely excited about that. She will be 85. And so I would thank God too for my husband, Senior Pastor Jeremy Drell of Life Changers. He is the reason I get to do what I do. To my amazing production team led by missionary Priscilla John Lewis and her amazing staff, thank you so very much. Again, to all of the audience, thank you all so very much for being on. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for texting. Thank you for getting people on. Those of you on the radio sitting at your desk, thank you too for getting everybody on. Right before Bishop and I get started, I want you all to go ahead and mark your calendar. Mark your calendar for Tuesday, February the 13th. Tuesday, February the 13th at the Tallahassee Night Live Performing Arts Center. I will be celebrating my 65th birthday. My 65th birthday. Thank you for the clap. I greatly appreciate it. My 65th birthday, my 65th year on earth. So we're going to talk about that a little later. We got the flyer coming up. We got everything happening. And so we will talk about that. I want to get started with you, Bishop, and I want to say thank you so very much for being on today. And not only that, but agreeing to be one of my special guests all year. I greatly appreciate you, Bishop McCray.
Blessings to you. I'm so happy to be here today. Always a pleasure to talk with you, Pastor Judy, one who's cutting edge, doing so many phenomenal things. And you've been this way since I've known you. So I'm just glad to be here today, this first Tuesday of the year. And thank you for choosing me to be that person to sit in.
Yeah, thank you. He said, I've been this way all my life, and that's a good point. And that's going to take us into that, Bishop, because I like what you said. He said, ever since he's known me, I've been this way. But do you all not know that I sit and I still learn? Do y'all not know I am stretching myself? I am getting, I want more. When I see people who can pour more into me, I want what they have. I want it. I want them to pour, because I'm 65, but y'all, I told them I don't want to be pastor. I told my husband, no, you're not going to be pastoring at 75. We're not going to be doing that. You're not going to be around here old. And even if we still healthy and doing well, maybe he'll be an apostle or something, setting up churches or something. But I believe God got more for us these coming years. Again, to everybody who's on, thank you so very much. Go ahead, get everybody. Faye Brewington, I must give her a shout out. Faye, thank you so very much. Faye is the sponsor for the Real Talk with Judy show from January the 1st to December the 31st.
Wow.
She is the sponsor, Bishop, for January the 1st to December the 31st. After I left your conference, I'm telling you, wow. She poured. Oh, wow. Thank you so very much, Faye. So, Bishop, as I just stated, what you just stated, that you've known me like this all your life, to be the person that I am and increasing. We went down to Orlando. I try to go to everything he has. I tried to attend. I brought him here. He's coming again this year. And as we sat in that conference, you stated to us that you brought people, your mentors, to give to us what they have given to you, to give them their tools. And so, Bishop, we're going to talk about stretching leaders. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about, that was the name of your conference, Stretch. And that's what has been into me. So we want to stretch leaders. Just get us an introduction so we could get into the discussion of this. What does that mean to you? What did that look like?
Yes. When I think about stretch, and when the conference came to mind, I was thinking about people who are already in the acceptance of the call, but looking to expand what they're doing. I said something the other day. I said that one of the things that we got to make sure we're doing, we got to make sure that we're good at who we are and not just good at who we've been. Got to make sure we're good at who we are and not just good at who we've been. Too many leaders, too many individuals, we are still good at who we've been. We've mastered who we've been. But we have to recognize the shift of seasons. We have to recognize the shift of assignments, and then understand that our oil was good for where we poured it, but it needs to be better for where we're getting ready to go. And too many people are trying to use expired oil in new seasons. And that's a danger.
Wow. And Bishop, that is the thing. I just thought about it as you stated that. using expired oil. I don't know if you ever went to a restaurant and you ate their chicken or hamburger or their steak, whatever they were using, and they use old oil.
Yeah.
The taste is not the same. You did not even want to eat it. It left a bad taste, a bad feeling. And sometimes, Bishop, I've experienced it took a little bit to get that taste out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're talking, that's what I'm thinking about. If we do not, oh, I love that. We can't just celebrate or leave from where we've been,
Yeah.
but where we are, or we're going to use stale oil and it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouth.
When you look at churches right now across the country, and we're seeing some people not coming back to church, and it's not because of just the pandemic. Some people are not coming back to church. It's because the church did not grow. Like, what was next? And we got to stop arguing at people for our inabilities of expanding. We got to stop arguing at people for our inabilities of expanding. There is a responsibility on the pews, but there's also a responsibility on the leader. And that responsibility on the leader is to make sure that we are going out, that we're venturing out, that we're expanding, that we're stretching, so that we'll understand how to meet the needs. I heard you say you're not going to pastor at 75. I don't plan on pastoring at 60. When I turn 60, I'm done. This year, I'm turning 50. When I turn 60, I plan on being out of here unless the Lord gives a strong correction to me. But my desire is to be done. And one of the reasons why I want to be done is not because I don't think I could function. It's because I think that, but instead it's because of the fact that I don't think that I'll be as effective.
Okay.
As somebody coming along new. Why? Because as I'm expanding, I'm not interested in being all. That's been my growth for me. When I first started the ministry, I was interested in being everything for everybody. I was trying to accommodate every need, every thought. I was trying to be on every scene. I was trying to be involved in every political view. That was where I was because I was young. I was hungry. I was scared. And those are good traits to have. But what I wasn't in my early life, in my early ministry, I wasn't seasoned. I didn't know that as I could be everywhere, I couldn't be everything. And I think that's something powerful that we get to learn. Sometimes you're on too many scenes doing nothing versus being on a few scenes being effective. And I've learned, I'll never forget this, Apostle Danny Williams, who's down in Leesburg, Florida. He called me one day and he says, Derek, this is like probably year 4 of my ministry. Church is booming. Things are going well. And he said, don't you ever forget the power of your presence. When you show up, it says something. He says, so stop showing up everywhere. He says, when you show up, it says something. Stop showing up everywhere. Now, I went through a whole season of people thinking that I thought I was all that because I wasn't showing up every place. But it was also some wisdom in that because as I was everywhere, I was tired.
Yeah.
I was depleted. Showing up every place sometimes means you can't grow. Because when do you have your time for investment for you? You know, I had to make sure that I was healthy versus just being the head of stuff in every place. I had to make sure that I was healthy. I had to make sure that I had proper rest, that my mentality was not warped. One of the best things for me not going every place was I didn't get exposed to everybody who I knew. I didn't get exposed to some people who I knew didn't have the best for me.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so
good.
not being around them was healthy for me because I didn't have to feel like I had to put up a front to talk, or I didn't have to go through the scrutiny of entertaining a conversation of somebody I know is killing me. So it really started helping me in the process. I became healed, healthy, and I was able to serve better because at the end of the day, that's who we are. We're servants. I was able to serve better. And this is a season that leaders got to stop serving bruised.
Wow.
We got to stop serving bruised. We may take a bruise, we may get hit, so we take a bruise from there. But even when we take the bruise, we have to learn how to go, wrap up, heal, come back, function. We're watching football season right now, and my gosh, Lord knows I'm saddened by Willie Simmons taking the new job at Duke, but I totally understand it. I get it. His desire is Power 5 football. And I went to Rattler fan, y'all. I went to Atlanta for the game too, celebrated, jumped, shouted, everything. I was at homecoming. this year, Florida Classic. So I'm a diehard fan too. I understand we did. But something that I'm learning from the football season, it's good when players can sit back.
Yeah.
It's good when they can sit back, get healed versus keep running on injured material.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we as leaders, we're running on injured material too much. As we keep running on this injured material, what happens after a while, we'll slow the whole game down.
Yes.
Because we can't keep up the speed. And I think that's what's happening right now with leadership in the church. We're injured. People have said things to hurt us. People have done things to hurt us. People have set out activities to hurt us. Sometimes we've hurt ourselves because we have a larger expectation than what God had assigned to us. And so sometimes that's an internal infliction that we have as well. And these hurts come to us. We got to learn how to heal. Now, don't stay out the game too long, but learn how to heal so that you can get back in the game and then you can function faster. Because where we are right now, things are shifting and changing so quickly that we got to be able to function faster. But we can't function faster if we're injured. And so we got to get some healing.
Wow. Bishop, you have said so much. I mean, you just in that little bit, but we have to heal. We have to heal. I see Minister Howard said you got to learn to heal. We have to heal, because if not, we hurt the whole team playing injured. And so you just said so much. God bless you, Apostle Clary, and all of you who are on. And Bishop, one of the things I want you to expound on right now, leaders, we're stretching. And one of the things I found out about healing, one of the part of healing is stretching. So Bishop, talk about how we can help ourselves heal. How can we bring healing to ourselves? Because I sent 2 words to you today that came to me: the driver leader, and we'll talk about that, and the passenger leader. We get into that in a few minutes. Y'all just remember those 2 words that came to me this morning: the driver leaders and the passenger leaders. Because one of the things I think people have to remember too, Bishop McRae, that we're leading leaders. We're not leading children. I mean, we got our children ministry, but for the most part, we're leading leaders. But let's talk about that. Give us some pointers of healing as leaders. Yeah. Another thing I want to say that just came to me, Bishop. Sometimes I don't think the leaders know that they have bruised one of their leaders.
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about that for us.
I think first, talking from the standpoint of the leader dealing with other leaders, we got to make sure we're gentle in our conversations. That iron fist ruling has expired. You yell more as a leader because of the fact that you have less people to speak to. So that iron fist has expired. We have to be gentle in our approach. If you're a real bona fide leader in this time and day, the best thing that you need to learn to get is a discernment of how to communicate the vision. Harshly communicating is not functioning or working anymore. People are no longer afraid of leadership. Right. That is shifted. People are no longer afraid of leadership. So you can't shout and yell people into where you want them to be. Right. What you can do is create confusion with that loudness. And you can also create rebellion in that loudness, because people don't want to be embarrassed, and leaders need to honor that. That the people who are sent to serve with us, and I want to say that again, serve with us, because that hierarchy leadership has expired.
Yes.
It's everything walks up to me. I'm really against that style of leadership. I'm really more into the core leadership. Sit in the middle of your floor chart and be surrounded with those who bring vision to pass. I think that's where it should be, connected into those. But we got to get rid of hurting people. And if you have, be quick to figure out how to apologize. And then I'm going to tell you another healthy trait that I've been learning to do as well. And I'm still in the process of learning too. If I hurt or offend, I have to give correction to the individual of, I'm sorry for what I did. I was wrong. But then also affirm publicly what you've messed up privately. Affirm what you've messed up privately. I've had occasions. I'm reminded of one of my preachers. They're probably on the line. I'm not going to say male or female, but one of my preachers on the line probably now, I think. And we had a major blow up right before my State of the Experience address that I do, my annual address, over something that I felt we need to do. They felt a little different about it. We had a bad blow up. And I had to quickly go back and I apologize. It took us about 3 days to talk. That's how bad the blow up was. It took us about 3 days to talk. We came back together to talk. And I got to say to that pastor that they are huge in my eyesight because of the fact that even though we had a major confrontation, that pastor still showed up at the event and was not emotional to bring the church into the disagreement that we had.
I love it.
That was major for me all by itself. That's growth. That's maturity. We had our apology, but then I had to also go back and just do certain things over the mic to make sure that they had an assurance of where we stand. And also the membership understood where we stand. I think that's a powerful thing to do. In this time and season, we're not looking to give validation to people because I believe that the leader who needs validation shouldn't lead. I think the leader who needs validation should find themselves a place to sit because they're not fit for leadership if you need validation. You got to decide if you're going to lead or if you're going to be validated. If you're going to be validated, you need to be served. And leaders should not be served right now. So if you need validation, you need to be served, which means you should not be serving right now. So I think that it's necessary for us as leaders to speak well of, to let the church know that we're all together. Let the church know that I'm not doing this by myself. A strong leader is a confident person to share platform with and acknowledgments with. You have to be strong. It can't be the yo show that everybody just sees you. It has to be that other people with talents and gifts. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be preaching in your pulpit because I don't believe that God is calling people to occupy your pulpit. He called you to occupy the pulpit. But there are other places and other positions, there are setups that you can do as leaders to help other leaders be strengthened in their gifts and also to feel the usage and the necessary use of them to the kingdom right now. That's necessary. Now, when we talk about healing, the first thing about healing is rest. That's the first thing. It's not complicated. The first thing is leaders, we got to learn how to rest. A lot of the leaders are bruised because they're so active.
Yes.
Now, that also gets us into time management. The truth is we don't manage our time well as leaders. Very few of us manage our times well. So we call things rest when we really are in a season of burnout. And that's not a good place. When you've burnt out, you've mismanaged time. Let's just be honest with that. If you're burnt out, your time management has been wrong. As leaders, we got to take ownership in that I've had burnout moments, but my burnout moments was not because my schedule was so hectic that I couldn't do it. It was because I failed in my time management. And my scapegoat to this is I just need to dial out. No, I don't believe in really dialing out in the kingdom. I think that's a very dangerous place to be in because it was hard to get dialed into the kingdom.
Right.
And it's going to be even harder to get dialed in the second time to the kingdom. So when you take that step back, you got to be very aware of what you're doing, be very consecrated in where you are, be very covered in who's speaking into your life while you are in your dial back place. But I think even in healing, you need a connection in healing and you need the right doctors to speak into you while you're being healed. Those are the mentors. Those are people that you serve under, and every leader should be submitted to some place. So the people that you serve under should have access to you in your healing transition time that they can speak into you and affirm you, because a real good mentor ain't gonna let you quit.
Right.
A real good mentor will not let you sober in your feelings. A real good mentor is going to do a Nick Saban kind of job, slap you in your face a few times and tell you, get your behind back up. It's time to get ready. I understand. Go over and get a drink of water, but you're getting back on this field. That's what a real good leader is going to do. So healing takes time. Healing is also a matter of us mastering our time schedule. We got to figure out, I'm hurt because I'm depleted. I'm this car running on E that never gets to go by the gas station. So we got to figure out how to get filled back up. But that comes through those leaders, those mentors who sit with us. But I think that's the way of healing for us.
Wow, Bishop. I mean, yeah. And I think that And I like this show. So I hope y'all would do me another favor. Share this on your page. Share this on your page because all of this is so important. Share this. Share this. This is good. I know we got a lot of stuff going on in the community, but we need people to be healed. Leaders need to be healed. You can't go to that next level without being healed. One of the things you said, Bishop, and we're going to discuss this, in stretching ourselves, even as leaders, confrontation is going to happen. And I must admit that I was one of those leaders because I would get frustrated. Now I've been leading, I'm 65. I've been leading probably 40 years, over 40 years. I've been a leader, but I've gone through, so I'm certified in so many levels in leadership because I want to be, right? And one of the things I've learned is how to be a better leader in my voice tone, because growing up, I saw that, and you become what you see, you know, and there are times, I want y'all to hear me too, leaders, there are times when your voice will raise, but it can't raise in the point of killing. And so talk about, Bishop, how confrontation will happen, because I don't want us to think that we won't ever have. You're going to have confrontation. You're going to have conflict with people with different ideologies, with different perspective. So how do we handle when the conflict is? And you said y'all didn't speak for about 3 days. I had one of my leaders to tell me, Elder Wayne Salter, he in Texas now, one of the great leaders for the state of Texas. He told me when I used to talk to him, but he said he's so glad he listened. But when I was on the phone and my voice would be like this, he said he had that telephone and he was hitting inside my head. He said, but I never saw it, Bishop. I never, ever saw it. He had never, to this day, raise his voice at me or anything, and we've had conflict, and during those times he would just be quiet.
Yeah.
And he stated because I was his leader.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us a little bit about that, y'all. And this is why y'all gonna have to tune in this year, because we're gonna stretch you. And I know y'all taking a lesson, but talk about dealing with confrontation or conflict, because it's unavoidable.
I think conflict needs to be reimagined.
Okay.
And I think it's reimagined because we have automatically made conflict wrong. We've made it wrong. And so conflict never has a chance to be right. Conflict sometimes gets us corrected. And corrected don't mean in the term that we think in our community a lot when we speak, like, oh, he got him straight. Not meaning straight. Corrected meaning like, this is right now. This is the right path. The conflict sometimes bring it. If we're going to be honest as preachers, when we're preaching the text, we're finding conflict within the text, and then we begin to argue our point,
right,
to get us to what is necessary for what the word is saying to us. And so I think we have to reimagine conflict. We have to be, and the danger of conflict is ego.
okay.
So conflict is not bad. Ego is. Ego is the problem, where now we are both pressing to be right versus finding what's right. We're pressing to be right. So now you have two sides warring to come out as the victor.
Okay.
Versus two sides warring to be what's best. Old terminology, we say it all the time, iron sharpens iron. But you can't be afraid of the blades. If iron sharpens iron, you can't be afraid of the blades. So we got to get the ego out of the room and get ourselves to the position of saying, you know what, it's cool. I got this. I understand this. But that means that humility has to be involved when we're dealing with conflict. Humility. I don't think we have enough humility floating, especially in leadership. Not enough humility. Everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to be the show. Everybody wants to walk out the room and be justified and tell everybody else how correct they were. And we have to be careful. There's a lot of internal conflicts that I have with individuals within my ministry, or moments when I have to do correction. I don't like to do public correction.
Right.
Public correction for me comes when it's a public display. So if you publicly show up, I have to publicly show out to let everybody else know in the room that there won't be this again. So with that case, but I do prefer to have my conflicts in private, because I want to be as the two-edged sword. I want to do surgery, but I also want to do healing. So it makes no sense for the surgeon just to cut you if he can't stitch you.
Right.
If he can't stitch you, the cutting was wrong. Don't cut until you qualify to stitch. Don't cut until you qualify to stitch. If your stitching is jacked up, stay in school. Stay in surgical school. You qualify to stitch, because as good as this and as necessary as the cutting is, it's also necessary to stitch up. Because at the end of the day, no matter what our conflict is, we really want resolve.
Right.
We want resolve, and we want healthy interactions going forward. And sometimes you got to understand, and sometimes I've bitten my tongue, and I haven't had conflicts with some individuals to certain capacities because of the fact that I recognize who I'm talking to. And
Right.
some people are not equipped to be stitched. I'll say that again. As the leader is working and we know we need to do surgery, some people aren't equipped yet to be stitched. And because they're not equipped yet to be stitched, maybe they have a blood disorder. And if you cut them, the bleeding is going to be so profusely that the stitching won't stop the bleeding. So sometimes you got to wait and hold your peace and let the Lord fight the battle or whatever it is in there, because stitching is not available yet for them. You got me? And so in those occasions, I've learned that when I cannot have the conflict, I go into prayer. And I think leaders are forgetting that. Like, we're doing too much talking without talking to God first. Like, if we are the servants of God and leaders of God, who's giving us permission to say what we say? God giving us permission to address people the way that we address them? Because many of us are talking without, here it is, instructions. We're talking without Jesus telling us to do so. We're talking without having permission to go forward in this conversation. And a lot of times, if we're going to be honest as leaders, we're doing this because it makes us feel good versus making the situation better.
Better.
And in 2024, we got to grow that we stop trying to feel good about stuff and actually be good in stuff.
Yeah.
Let's stop feeling good, because it's nothing like it. Come on, especially we Black, it's nothing like getting it off our chest and feel like I done told them. Yeah, but now what happens to the product? What happens after this? So when I open my mouth now, I'm trying to have step 2 and 3 in mind already. I tell you this, is this going to happen? And if this happens, what is this going to do to us? And so I'm trying to have 2 and 3 conversations. Now, let me speak to this because this is a real piece too. The pressure of our congregations, though, sometimes presses us to do things that are detrimental to what we serve over. The pressure of the pews is real because people want you to do things because they don't have the position to do it. And so we got to be careful as leaders that we don't allow the pews to bully us into bruising members. I hope that makes sense. That the pews don't bully us into bruising people.
Yes.
Because the pew pressure can be real to us.
Yes.
We're not careful. We will give up our authority of leadership and become a servant because we only do what the pews are asking us to do.
And Bishop, I think that where we are right now, what you're saying, it makes it so important. And I think you mentioned it a few moments ago in the healing about having someone to talk to and go that place. How important in this area right here where we are now, how important when you talk about the collaborations of leaders with leaders on their level of where they have been. Because a lot of what you're teaching today and a lot of what you're saying today, I honestly believe that leaders everywhere need to hear this so we can lead more effectively for what God had, the assignment God has given to us, so we don't become hostage to our own views or to the pews. If we're going to lead effectively in 2024. I know many of us have made mistakes, but when I sit with you and when I'm speaking to you, I do it from a perspective to get a better insight on things, to see how I can move this next level, to see how I can make it better work. Because I have to have a leader. I have to have a leader that sees, that can look through the same telescope I look through and see a different star or something. I have to. So talk to that, Bishop.
I think we got to really define what leadership is. What I find, Dr. Judy, is that so many of us are walking in this world and in life, not even knowing what we're walking and doing. Like, we have so many titles, we have so many functionalities, we have so many things that are surrounding us. Do we ever take the time to really just focus in, like zero in on that word? So if we're talking about leaders, the question is, what is leader?
Mm-hmm.
Why is leader? When is it necessary? Because I think when we start breaking things down that simplistic, now we can start getting the true context of what it is that we're embracing. If I am a leader, it means, here it is, I'm not an owner, I'm a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the first failures that we have in the church, is that we don't recognize that this ain't our work.
Right.
I look at Moses' story and I see what happened with Moses and how he got so flustered and so overwhelmed that he strikes the rock and everything. And I understand what happens with him as a ramification of that. And I told my church early on, listen, y'all ain't gonna make me miss paradise because of y'all. That I'm not gonna do. I'm not missing this because y'all crazy.
Right.
The second thing that I see is New Testament Jesus. He's in the garden. He shows us how to handle moments of personal pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
He says, not my will, your will be done. So we're going to be leaders first. Let's first find out why are we a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out, what does it really mean? And let's find out, where does it go? He had to say, not my will, because of the fact that there was something attached to him. He only has his role for the attachment. And every leader needs to catch that. Your role is only there for an attachment. It's only there for where God is taking something. He's using you. He's using you. And never lose track. I tell my church all the time, man, listen, I don't even invite everybody to my church to preach. And some people are like, you invite me to your church? Why ain't come? Okay, God didn't tell me that. And watch this. As good of a friend as we may be, as great, because not coming to my church is not a reflection on you not being able to preach.
Right.
Not coming to my church is a reflection of God not saying there. Because what I don't want to see, and I've seen some phenomenal preachers get up in the wrong places and flop because it was an assignment. And so, we got to recognize that the gift that I have is a gift for God to use whenever he wants to release. If he don't want to release it, I don't want in it. And so I think that we got to surround ourselves with other leaders. We got to be careful with that, because another truth is, man, there's so much competition out here, and it's sad. And as much as we talk about competition, and we shouldn't have competition, we still have competition. And we usually have competition because of the fact that, okay, this is a real good truth. Usually there's a lot of competition because, number one, you're overwhelmed with the fact that God gave you this favor, and you never had attention all your life.
Say that again, Bishop. So say that again. Say that again.
And you never had attention all your life. So that's one of the reasons why we tend to get in strong competition. The second reason is we can't believe that God allowed us to have what we have, knowing who we are. Those are the two reasons that you have competition. You ain't never had no attention, and you still trying to figure out, golly, grace did that for me. Mm-hmm. When you recognize the authentic move of God, you then don't have competition. When you recognize the authentic, like I tell my church all the time, man, if God hadn't done this, we would not exist. Mm-hmm. Now, this is not to say that you don't want to be better, you don't want to achieve more. Yeah. It's not to say that you don't see other things that you like and you desire. But if what I desire comes at somebody else's demise, that's demonic.
That's demonic, Bishop. Bishop, how do we stretch our leadership capacity without feeling the need to compete? Because what you're saying came to me as I was preparing, not today, but all last year, where it said that sometimes competition come because they never had that kind of attention. They never had people following them like that. So they feel now that they have to compete against someone. But at the same time, Bishop, how can we, because you know yourself, I'll call and I'll say, Bishop, what about so and so and so and even before you became bishop, when you were, and I must say, you done had me everywhere you been. So I don't preach at the Baptist church. I don't preach that. You know, you keep bringing me, but at the same time, I don't compete with you. However, I look at what you're doing, and if I feel that it can happen in what I'm doing, I'm going to use it and add to it without feeling that I have to cause damage to you. I don't have to discredit you to make it seem like I'm all of that.
I think one of the things that we have to do, Dr. Judy, is when you see something that you like, give credit to where you saw it. It keeps us humble. When you see something you like, give credit to where you saw it. It keeps us humble. When it works for you, give praise to who showed it. It keeps us humble. So Bishop Allen Wiggins, Archbishop Allen Wiggins, is one of my favorite guys in the whole wide earth. EARFF, earth. He's one of my favorite guys in the whole wide earth. I love Bishop Wiggins. He exposes me. He shows me. But every time I get an opportunity, I stand and I show the shoulders that I stand on. Every opportunity I do, I stand up and I'm like, hey, I want to thank Archie. You heard me do it in the conference. Archbishop Allen. He's opened these doors. He's opened these doors. He's opened these doors. I have no problem saying it to anybody in the world, right? Bishop Joseph Walker, I stand and I say what he's done for me, how he's opened doors, the insight. It helps the person issuing, the person that's giving out the knowledge. It helps them to stay assured that you can handle what they can expose and that you'll manage the moment right when you are able to be humble and still give credit. It's the same thing we do to God. Giving honor to God, who is the head of our lives. It's telling him we recognize this is because of you. Mm-hmm. So why can't we do that with our colleagues? If it's a great idea coming from Dr. Judy Mandrell, why not say this is a great idea I got from Dr. Judy Mandrell? She's doing a phenomenal work. Let me praise your work. I think we have a lot of this competition because of the fact that we don't know how to praise others' work. Ooh. And subconsciously it gets in our spirit. Why couldn't Lucifer say, God created all of this? Why couldn't he say, I am because he is? If he would have been able to say, I am because he is, he would have still been able to have his role in the kingdom. But he had to start showing that I got the light too, that I got it too. He builds competition. Yeah. I say this to you. You can never, ever succeed or supersede the person you got it from. At the end of the day, you may work their work better than their work, but you never forget it's their work. Right. Stand on the shoulders, but you had to have a ground to put your feet on. That's right. So I'm still saying to you that if we could ever just get into, hey, I thank God for da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. I love to see basketball players and football players who honor those before them. I love to see it. You know, I think LeBron James is a phenomenal player. I do. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think even greater, he's a phenomenal guy. I love it. I think he is beautiful for showing young men how to be young men. I love it about him. All right. Yeah. LeBron James is on the shoulders of Kobe Bryant. Let's be honest. Kobe is on the shoulders of a Michael Jordan. Let's be honest. So when we get into the LeBron and the Michael Jordan's conversation, while LeBron is doing some great things, the league has changed. That's a whole different sports discussion. But while that is happening, we understand that, man, some of these moves, this is Jordan's moves. Some of Jordan's moves were Dr. J moves. Yeah. You do yourself credit by honoring the generation before you. And that's how we take out all this skeptic and
I
this
love it.
separation is just honoring somebody. Like that's an unheard word, especially in today's church. We have a problem honoring, and then let's be honest. Sometimes we honor a little bit too much. We get into this, I own you, which is not the case. But it should be I honor you. So not I own you, because we don't honor to be slaves. Baba Sheko.
Right,
So it's not no slave mentality here.
right.
But we should be able to honor, but give credit to where it's due. When we get into that competition, it ceases.
Yeah. And it seemed like it's so hard in the church. It seemed, well, in the world too, but it just seemed like it's so hard to just say, hey, I got this from so and so, or because of this, da 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 da. It's easy. Well, for me, it's easy for me. I'll put it that way. It's
With
easy.
humility, it's easy.
Yeah.
Without humility, it's hard. And again, it's hard because we're still trying to figure out how to finally get attention, because we've never had
Never
attention.
had the attention.
I grew up, and you've been knowing me since I was born. I grew up with attention.
Yes.
I really did. I've always had attention. I was the only child for my mama for 18 years, and then she got crazy and had another baby. So I always had attention. When I was in Tallahassee, you gave me a lot of attention. You used to keep me all the time. You used to abuse me, but you did all those.
You gotta stop saying that.
It's not a lie. It's the truth. You
See, Bishop, you do real good until you get to that word right there. You had a seat in heaven.
Yeah, I still got it because I just exercise the truth. But I always had attention. So one of the things that I don't lack now is attention. And I believe that's one of the credits to me. I always tell people all the time, Pastor Judy taught me how to play drums, first person ever. When I was playing on the road, every place I used to go, they's like, man, who you listen to? I was like, Pastor Judy taught me. She gave me my first opportunity. I've always been that person to give it over to whoever it is. You know, when I got into leadership, J.D. Oles gave me my first opportunity to get into real leadership, Family Gospel Choir. I got into that. You know, I learned those things. I set up under Otis Young, Apostle Otis Young, and saw how Otis Young ran the choir. I took that and then tried to build from there. I've always given credit to where it should do. Derek Hutchins was my pastor back here in Orlando. Bishop M.L. Scallions taught me what it looks like to be a statesman in the city. You know, Pastor Willis C. Barnes taught me how to really do ministry. Kojit taught me how to do church. He taught me how to do ministry in the Baptist church. That combination of things came together and it made Derek. I couldn't be with all those guys. I couldn't be. So I recognize that. And anytime I get a chance, Bishop Sam Green, AME Church, poured into me. I say this on a regular basis because it reminds, if nobody else, it reminds me that I'm only here because of all of these contributors who have helped make me who I am today.
Wow. Listen, y'all gonna have to share this. My time is out. Y'all got to share this. Y'all got to share this on your page. But Pastor Bishop McRae will be with me every month for the year of 2024. Every month he will be with me, and we would let you know which Tuesday, because he's going to be here every month. So keep your pen and pad so you can get these great nuggets that he's given to us. But the time said I got to go now. I got to go. But Bishop, I want to thank you so very much for the words that you all have given to us today. If y'all will, please share this. Share this on your page. Share this with everybody. And I am so honored that you all tuned in today. Thank you all so very much. Remember, mark your calendar for February the 13th, 2024. And I'm going to give you more information because I'm going to have a registry. And we want you to help me. The funds are going to go to everything that I'm doing. Everything that I'm doing, we're going to fund it through my birthday celebration. And I want your help. Also, this Saturday, we're having back to school re-up. Okay, making the second half of the school year better for our children. Y'all know we have a lot of children that need a lot of things. Some of them backpacks were not good. We want to replenish. Anybody on here, if you want to send something, say here, Pastor Judy, go get some backpacks on my behalf. Send it to Real Talk with $, Real Talk with Judy. And I'll go get it on your behalf. So I have to pick it up before Saturday. So go ahead and send me your money. Real Talk with Judy. And we're going to give gift cards. We got a guy who's going to grill some hot dogs and hamburgers. Pastor, I'm learning a lot from you. I just got to not get all the money and the collaboration. But I want to thank you so very much. So y'all do that. We will have Bible study tonight. And if anybody in Tallahassee, Dr. Clary, I'm putting that in place the Leadership Summit. That is coming real soon. Soon, Apostle. And so we're going to make it good. So Pastor Bishop, thank you so very much. Y'all share it. Go ahead and share it. This is worth sharing. And so we'll be back next Tuesday, Lord willing, at 11:30, and with some more nuggets. And we're going to get ready to go. Bishop, in 1 minute, give the people some closing something.
2024 is going to be a great year. It's the year of alignment and assignment. If you align right, the assignment is going to give you the grace to be extremely effective in this year.
Wow.
Alignment and assignment.
Alignment and assignment. Y'all, we got work to do. So let's align so our assignment can be great. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. And I am Dr. Judy Mandrell, your Real Talk radio host. Thank you for tuning in. That's Real Talk.
Real talk with Judy on the radio.